Lucy Eldine Gonzalez Parsons occupies an unusual position in American history. Born in 1853 in Texas and returned to the Essence March 7, 1942, in a house fire in Chicago. She was an American labor organizer, radical socialist, and anarchist communist. Lucy made it her life's mission to fight for the poor and disenfranchised. She was the founder of the Industrial Workers of the World, the widow of the executed Haymarket eight-figure Albert Parsons, and a writer and speaker. Lucy began her career as a writer and lecturer, writing for the WPUSA's paper, The Socialist, and speaking for the WPUSA's and the Working Women's Union. She's noted as the first Black woman to play a prominent role in the American left, though she denied any African heritage, claiming only Native American and Mexican ancestry. Well, we thank you anyway, Lucy. Did you know that? Well, now you do. Peace.
All right, peace everybody, and welcome back to another episode of My Quality is for Real. I am your lovely host here, Queen My Quality, and today, just like any other day, I'm having a real talk with a quality person who is definitely walking in her purpose, because that's what we do here. I have real talks with quality people, and Miss Felicia Williams, she's no stranger. Miss Felicia Williams is a beautiful lady outside of Dallas, Texas. I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and we'll get into how we met, and then we're gonna get into the book.
All right, it's good to be here with My Quality is what real. Michael, I always tease you about your name. So who I am, and I am Felicia Williams, and I reside in Dallas. I am a school counselor. I've been in education for 25 years. I am a nationally acclaimed author, yes. And I am a motivational speaker. I just love people, and I am very authentic about the relationships that I have as I journey through life. The people I meet, I believe they are intentionally put in my pathway for me to not just to give, but for me to gain. So for that, that's the reason I am here, and that's who I am.
Well, yes, ma'am. Well, me and Miss Felicia had the opportunity to meet. Shout out to Power Play Radio Network.
Yes, yes.
Shout out to Don and Miss Trudy over there. That's what we got an opportunity to meet, and I got an opportunity to be on your show.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about your show? So it started off as a show. I just want to say, first of all, let me just give you your flowers, because when I first met you, I was on your podcast that was called The Plug. Okay. And now fast forward, we are talking about the book, the devotional, you know what I'm saying? The 30-day devotional plug, Power Living Under God. I want to talk about that, and I just want to congratulate that. That is huge. That is huge. Did you ever see it back then? Is this something that you've always wanted to do?
Actually, I didn't see it back then. I didn't see, the podcast, working in radio/TV, the experience that Don had given us. I didn't see that. And I had such a wonderful time. True story. I was on my way to the tax office one day, in the building where Don and Trudy housed the Power Play Radio. And I haphazardly got to the wrong floor and stopped in there to, I saw a lady who I knew, Sister Virginia Hill, and I saw her. I said, let me go ask her. And the story goes from there. And Don just began to talk to me, and was like, hey, we got this radio, it's not like a radio show, but radio / TV point of view. Well, from there, I interviewed, and like you asked the question, had I thought about it? No, let me say this, you know how you think about things in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
At that time in the season of life that I was in, I believe I was in a place where I really, really wasn't dreaming, you know? So, but when I went to that interview and was given that opportunity, that experience is what catapulted me into where I am today. Because I met so many dynamic people and you were one of them. And I didn't take it lightly. You know, I don't take anything lightly. Small beginnings, we don't take lightly because they can turn into what God already planned. I'm just a firm believer we're faithful over a few things. And God makes us ruler over many. And so that's how I started at Power Play Radio and got in, the opportunity to talk to phenomenal people and to host the show. And from there, you know, the dream just started bubbling over. Like, I'm like, okay, I can rock with this. And as far as writing the book, I started it. But when I started it, I was thinking, I like to term it this way. You have people who are overachievers, right? So their challenge is to actually do more than what's expected. But then you have those of us who are not overachievers, we're overthinkers. So the challenge becomes not actually achieving more, but I'm thinking more than what I need to. And it's the challenge of me to start the thing because I'm already way over there in it. And so when I began to start writing, I was like, oh, I thought about 365 days writing a devotional for a whole year. And going through some relational, just going through a separation in my marriage of 28 years, because I'm very authentic and transparent. So I just believe that's how we help one another. During that time, that's when God began to actually allow me to see myself, go through the process and actually write out the devotional. And I got to 30 days and God said, that's all you need is 30. Do 30. Because see, overthinking it, I would have never gotten it out. So when I did the 30, I actually thought 30 days, that's not enough. People won't purchase a 30-day devotional. But if I tell you,
because listen, 30 days is still a year. You just repeat the 30 days. You just, you know what I'm saying? Either way it go, you can still use it every day.
Even thinking about that. But like I said before, small beginnings. And that's what I would encourage anybody. You know, I know for me, I would try to look at everybody else and what everybody else is doing. But when God gives you something and tailor makes it just for you, you got to put his spin and your spin on it and do it just the way it is and own your authentic self, different, and do the thing. Like right now on this show, when I think about the interview with you, I was just so amazed. And that's sometimes the difficult part when people interview me, I'll turn it because I just think iron sharpens iron. And I believe that there's no me just by myself, of course with God, but there's no me, not even without you. Because even this is a part of a divine connection and we need one another. So yeah, that 30-day has blown my mind because people are giving reviews and, you know, it's just awesome because it's not like I'm out here chasing a dollar. It's that I'm chasing that people change. How that God gives us to do so when we authentically and be honest with ourselves on who we are. That's the power within. It's an inside outside job.
Absolutely. And when it's authentic, you don't have to chase it because just like you were walking into that building, it came to you. It'll come to you. And that's how you know it's meant to be. That's how you know it's divine. Like even our meeting one another. You know what I'm saying? And from the first time that I met you, I kind of knew that there was gonna blossom into more than just that. Just being who you are, your personality, and just talking to you and your story, I knew, you know, that would eventually, you know, something would come from that. And shouts out to Don and Miss Trudy because that's really my first experience like that as well, being in front of, the TV, and he's training you, and they're really hands on, and that was a really good experience. And from that experience, I met so many people.
Yeah.
So many people.
Said, Michaela, when I think about it, as you were just sharing now, and I talk about it's a small beginning, and you talk about we don't have to chase it because it chases us. What I think about Don and Trudy, they don't chase the dollar.
Mm-mm.
But what they chase is an opportunity to pour into others. And I have seen just us and so many from their outpour. It's so phenomenal. It's another method of, I believe, it's just like pastors pastoring a congregation in another form.
Right.
Because they are pouring into people, and those people are then going and pouring out into others, like what we're doing today. It was by divine connection, but it was because of our knowing them, So yeah, and thank you for that compliment and encouragement, because it goes a long way. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So now your biography reads author, podcast host, and speaker. So the podcast, so you're still doing the podcast, the plug?
Yes, I'm still doing the podcast through Spotify,
Okay.
Apple Podcasts, wherever you can get your podcast, and it is the Power Living Under God. So I started out, it's probably about 15 episodes now, and I began to talk about relationships, not relationships, but relationships, and how our relationships, they shift in and out of season. But again, it's all from the foundation of the power living under God. We need the power to sustain healthy relationships, the power to let go of toxic relationships. But the what's interesting is the most reviews came from the podcast, the first one, which was God and You. Realizing that all over the world, people are commenting about how it was important for them to understand how the power works in us to have that right relationship with God. Because that first helps us to have all the other relationships and do all the other things. It's the power living under God. The plug. I'm the plug.
I love that, the plug. Absolutely. So are you still teaching as well? Or are you fully on your author, speaker, motivational mode?
So I am currently a school counselor.
Okay.
And so I am working toward completing my master's in licensed professional counselor, while I'm continuing motivational speaking and doing book signings and so many things on the horizon in what God is the next level, the next steps for the plug.
Okay, so it is just taking a life of its own. That's amazing.
It is.
That is definitely amazing. So with you, so you mentioned, after being married for 28 years, you mentioned that, you went through a separation. You don't have to get too deep into it, but can you kind of talk about that, and how when you said that, now you realize you got a chance, the opportunity to meet yourself and learn more about yourself and your journey to writing this?
Yes, because I was actually writing it at the time while I was in a relationship, right? And then the birth of it came after the relationship. And I'm glad you asked that, because this is a new direction that God is allowing me to share about the power living under God. Because oftentimes, we just celebrated resurrection. Everybody wants the resurrection and everybody wants the blessing, but the truth be told, before there's a resurrection, there's a cross. Before there's a cross, there's a garden of Gethsemane. In other words, there's suffering. And it was through the suffering that the birth of the book came out. I think about labor pains, the joy of the thought of having a baby living inside of you. But when the time comes for the birthing, the pain, the labor, the time, the sweat, the tears, but after the fact, we can smile and we see the fruit of the labor. And, it's a 9-month process, normally. So my encouragement is that a lot of times we are not God, but we delay what's in us because we're afraid of the suffering. We don't accept it. So that relationship ending, a lot of people were, oh, I'm sorry, but I believe things have a time and a season. And when the time and season ends, then it is over. You then deal with yourself, not the blame game. Go inward and see what it is that you are, what I had to deal with myself. I had to look myself in the mirror and deal with me, myself, and I, and allow God to do a heart surgery on me, to allow there to be a clearing in my mind, because a lot of times we can't give birth to the new because we're so bogged down with the distractions or the debris of toxic relationships or things within ourselves that fear and guilt and shame. But when we spend time alone with God and allow God to show us ourselves and rid ourselves of all the things that could be holding us down or keeping us at a standstill, then we get the release. And for me, that's what it was. It was a clearing, it was a release. And from that, God has just been opening up the windows of heaven and just pouring out blessings like never before. And I accept and I embrace my new. I always tell people I'm the new Felicia Williams, the 2.0 versus the one. I know who the 1.0 was, but I embrace the 2.0. It's not about other people knowing. It's about we knowing ourselves. It's about me knowing what makes me tick, what's my triggers, what I like, what I don't like. Oftentimes we think it's about what others know about us. No, what do you know about yourself? And then from there, the birthing of the book, the birthing of just being okay with who I am. And then realize there were so many things that I myself didn't believe about myself. And I went within myself to find, where did I lose her? And I found her. And I thank God for that, and even through any bad relationships or anything we go through, we learn from them, lessons learned, not so much I went through it and we want to, badger anybody, but just what did I learn? What did I learn? I tell students that I counsel, start with I. That's the hardest thing. It's easy to go they and she and he.
Yeah. Yes.
It's very difficult for us to say I.
So accountability. A lot of people
accountability,
with that.
Accountability, so that we can own it. I believe when we do that, then God can trust us with the things and the giftings and the talents within for us to live out our lives.
You are definitely living out your life, for sure. You're definitely living out your life, for sure. Can you let the people know where they can find the plug and how they can get it and how to reach you? And Are you planning on writing another book?
I am.
Okay.
I'm an advocate for children, and so I'm in the process of writing a book for African American boys, well, all boys, but I really am partial to our African American boys, because there's a king within, but we need to learn how, as sisters, as mothers, to use the power to nurture the king within, so that they can be all that they were designed to be, because God chose us as women to birth them. So we need to know what that looks like, what that sounds like. So that's the next book for the plug. And I think I got another one coming. It's just a lot of things. But how you can get in touch with me, I'm on Instagram at, I always have to read that, the plug _ with Felicia. Facebook, The Plug with Felicia, and the website, The Plug at thefeliciawilliams.com. You can get the book on the website, or you can get the book on Amazon. So you can get a digital copy, or you can get the hard copy on Amazon, Power Living Under God. So you can always, I tell people, if you message me, we can meet up and I can give you a personal copy. I can mail it to you, whichever way that's best for you. And I did want to just throw it up.
Yeah, let the people see it.
The Plug, Power Living Under God. And this is a 30-day devotional, and it has some part, a place where you can reflect.
Okay.
So there you have it. Again, you can reach me on Instagram, Facebook, The Plug with Felicia, and Instagram is The Plug _ with Felicia. And on Amazon, Power Living Under God, if you just, which stands for The Plug. And the website is The Plug at thefeliciawilliams.com. And you can go to the website and just click the purchase button, and it'll take you directly to Amazon.
I'm definitely going to be purchasing my copy very, very soon. I hate that I didn't get a chance to have it before I interview, but that's okay, because you're going to come back for the second, the second book, and we can, kind of talk about that again as well. But I do want to ask you too, just as a younger woman, and then seeing somebody like yourself who, has these many hats like you do, like you said, you're still going to school, you're going for your master's. That's nothing to play with. That's a whole job within itself. And you're still counseling, you got time to write this book. How are you managing all of it? And how are you, being that you just came out of that situation? What are some steps, or what are some tips that you're taking to manage everything? And happy belated birthday to your grandson, Mr. Casey. I follow you on Facebook, so I see that you absolutely love your grandson. So how are you managing all of that?
So first and foremost, because the book itself, The Power Living Under God, the first and foremost thing is the relationship with God. And that looks like this: prayer time. I live a life of prayer. It's not just, I'm going to pray on Sunday. No, a life of prayer. So it's like talking to a friend. I hang out with God all day. I tell him God everything. And another thing, self-care. I unplug. I am the plug, but the plug unplugs. And to do that, I tell people it got to be tailor-made for you, because what we tend to do sometimes is group everything, and everything is not a group. So I may, because I'm not a person that watches TV often, so that's not a conviction of mine, but somebody else, that they watch it all the time, so they may need to unplug from the TV. For me, I don't watch it like that. So to unplug for me is to actually turn off the phone, no TV, no distraction for hours, and just sit with myself. I may sit outside in nature, go for a nature walk. I include in my self-care massages. Take yourself out to eat, but now if you're married or a marriage relationship, that's different. But like what you're asking about a young female like yourself, take time for you, and be unapologetic about it. Affirm yourself. Tell yourself that you are beautiful and wonderfully made before we seek out others to tell us about ourselves. So that's another thing, do what you love to do. For me, I love to encourage people. That's what I love to do. And now I love chips and salsa too. So I'm going to go have some chips and salsa. Right. Journaling, I just believe, and I am a counselor, but I also have a counselor. I think mental health, mental wellness is key. We get checked up for our eyes, our body, but we forget about this, our mind. And we need to incorporate that as well. But this is what I would encourage a young person like yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Oftentimes we condemn ourselves. Be gentle with yourself. If you make a mistake, not if, when you made it, learn from it, keep it moving.
Right.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, we are our biggest critics.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Biggest critics. Have you had to deal with any bad criticism about the book?
So that's what that would be my encouragement.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
I can.
You can hear me? Okay. Because it keeps saying that my internet connection is bad. Okay. Yeah, so that is definitely some good advice. Like I said, we are definitely hard on ourselves, thinking that we have to do it, do everything, and it's a lot. Shouts out to Miss Erica McGee. I just interviewed her. She actually wrote a book, She's All Over the Place, which is a very interesting, clever name. But she kind of speaks about that as well, about, making sure that you practice the self-care and take care of yourself, and, so that way you'll be able to take care of the people around you.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be that's the only way.
That's right. That is the only way. Pamper yourself, take care of yourself, and then you can love on others. Show up as your best version. If you do that, then the energy that you bring, we are light. You need to light up the world, light up the places that you go. But if you or when you feel depleted, go replenish. Take the time.
Yep. Are you still going up to the studio? Are you doing the podcast independently now? Are you still with Power Play?
Actually, I've been doing it independently. It's been about a year now.
Okay.
And I still keep in contact with Don and Trudy. And
okay.
Matter of fact, another thing I would encourage somebody to do, help somebody else along the way. Let's share the wealth of love, the wealth of peace, the wealth of power. I had an interview with a former student of mine, and she's connected to Don and Trudy. She calls Don uncle, because it's the relationship that they foster with everybody who comes in contact with them. So that's why it's a ripple effect. And so while we're taking care of ourselves, like you said, that Erica McGee suggested, is that we help others. Then we're better to help other people, so we can again share the wealth.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you. You know that you have a platform to always come back and talk about your book or talk about anything that you have going on. I appreciate you. I can't wait to get hold on 1 second. Sorry. Get my copy of the book. Any last words, any last encouragement that you want to leave with anybody before we wrap up? Like I said, I don't want to hold you too long.
Well, yes, I want to encourage you to those who are listening to get the book. Not just get the book for yourself, pay it forward and get it for somebody else. That's what the plug is about. It's not about just a money maker, but to make others powerful in their journey. And so to do that, and that's what the plug is about. I'm also preparing to connect with battered women, to put it in their hands, women who are incarcerated. We want to give the plug. We want to plug into somebody else's life, because just like our cell phones, without a charge, no matter how much you pay for that phone, it can do nothing for you. You can't get the apps. You got to first charge it up. So sometimes people need a charge, and you that charge. I'm that charge. So I encourage you and challenge you, be the charge in somebody's life. And the only way you can do that is stay connected and plugged into God. Thank you for this opportunity. And thank you for your support.
You are so welcome. I appreciate you. I can't say it enough. I definitely do. Just how we met and how we connected, and how anytime I have a question or anything like that, I appreciate you for always, just being there. I really do. And I'm glad that I'm able to have a platform for you to come and talk about the show. Talk about the book, because that's the whole purpose of the show, to let people know, that people, from our town, from where we're from, or where we reside at, There's a lot of people doing a lot of great, beautiful, big things, So to me, you're my celebrity. You know what I'm saying? You're successful to me in my eyes. So I appreciate you.
Well, I am excited because this is a wonderful thing, because to see you blossom into what you are and what God is doing in your life it's just amazing to me. And I'm honored to be on this platform because I know God is doing great things. And your quality, my quality is for real. That's why I am on this show with you, Michael.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Your quality.
Yep.
Yes, for real.
And with that being said, y'all, this is like she said, I'm gonna use it as a soundbite. Right. Y'all, this has been another episode with I have real talks with quality people who have real purpose. Again, we thank you. We appreciate you. Y'all be sure to get a copy of the plug. Be sure to follow Miss Felicia. She is doing a lot of great things. Show them one more time. Show them the book. Yeah, so y'all have a wonderful night. Miss Felicia, you have a wonderful night, and we will talk later, okay?
All right. Thank you again.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Hello, sir. I'm Detective Avery. This is Detective Barnes. Sorry to disturb you so late in the hour. Do you know a Constance Wells?
Yeah, she helped me get back in school. Why?
You sure that's all she does for you?
Several days ago, we found Miss Wells passed out in her room after taking some pills. We found this pill bottle in her possession. It has your name on it. We're just wondering, how did she get it?
What's going on? Go back inside, baby. It's okay. Let's go back inside.
So, do you mind coming with us down to the police station? This actually isn't the only bottle we found with your name on it. She has several stashed in empty drawers. Just want to ask you a few questions.
Am I under arrest?
You could be, if you don't come with us.
No, but we could come back with a search warrant.